he has one line where it's like, do you ever have so much to do that you just decide to take a nap?
Yeah,
It's kind of that same line of thinking, right?
exactly.
It's like you get so overwhelmed that, or you taking on too many things that you just don't know what to do, or you're not doing any one thing well.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
motion before emotion, it's kind of like analysis paralysis, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to do it and not think about it, because I am the king of overanalyzing, overthinking, and not making decisions.
Okay.
So I'm with you on that, man.
Yeah, because I think, like, I don't know, I just have to keep honing in on that, like, finding your why. When people tell me, like, or when people are like shocked at the things that I'm doing with the podcast, whatever business adventures that I'm doing, it's because I know my end game.
Yeah.
And I know it's just going to take time. I guess, like, circle back to the beginning is like, you said anyone can be an artist.
Yes.
As long as you put in the work.
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't know, I was raised to the point where I think, when I was in kindergarten, my mom will never, like, let me forget this. I won an award. It was just like a piece of construction paper with yarn, like with 2 hole punches. I won best sharer.
Sharer, dude. Right on.
So, like, I think I was just raised, like, we live in an abundant world where there are more than one winners.
Yeah.
But not necessarily you should reward yourself for just participating.
Right.
Like, I want to push people to do stuff, but also not let them be okay with doing the bare minimum.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel that whatever you do, you kind of have to try to be the best.
Yeah.
Your best, definitely. And why not look at the best and try to emulate that and study that. That's one of my biggest things. I mean, in making my art, I kind of look at, okay, who are the best artists and why is their art so good and why do so many people love it, and how can I model that, I guess.
Speaking on that, I think that brings up to my like number one theme question is, who are the top 5 influences you have in your life right now, and how do they affect you?
Okay. Well, I could just go the art route, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't know if anyone listening is an art fan. You may know these people, but if not, and you want to know a little bit more about art, my favorites: Mark Rothko, Gerhard Richter, both here, Ellsworth Kelly, John Hoyland, who I mentioned. Is that 4?
That's 4, yeah.
Let's see, who else? Joe Bradley.
Joe Bradley.
Maybe.
Are they all in the art galleries in DC, the museums?
I don't think they are all there. Most of them, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about
Check them out.
how did they affect you? Like, how did their art specifically per person affect you?
They kind of totally changed my outlook on art. I mean, when I started, I was doing realism, like I said, with a photograph, right? Yeah. And that's the reason I love doing that is because it's definitive, right? Kind of like the fitness. When I said I love how it's like it's either you did it or you didn't.
Yeah.
The same thing with the thing. It's like it either looks like a photo or it doesn't. Either you got this one piece right or you didn't.
Yeah.
But that's also kind of what got old for me, because there's only one outcome, I guess.
Okay.
And it's kind of like being a human computer, and it's just a matter of how much time you're willing to put into it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, anybody, if they spent X amount of hours, could do this.
Right.
Whereas when I found sort of this passion for abstract art was when I was looking at these artists and kind of studying what they do. Because when I first learned about abstract art, I kind of just looked over it and was just kind of like, whatever. I want to do something that looks very challenging. And to me, doing putting hours and hours into making something look perfect was something that just stood out to me.
Sounds like architecture. Like, thinking about that.
Yeah, a little
to
bit.
Make everything perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So this was kind of like a 180.
Yeah.
the abstract art, and it just changed my whole perspective. And it's a lot harder than I thought it ever was. But it's more fun because there's no rules.
Do you think
know?
that it's you're learning more about your own self-awareness because now you're trying to put your own spin into things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think it's much more of putting yourself into the art, more self-expression. Yeah.
Do you think you found it yet, or like your own? Like generally, I want to say like technique or style,
Right.
that separates you from them, because now you're kind of
No,
like just
I
trying
haven't.
them. You haven't tried
I know,
it yet?
and that's the thing
Well,
about
that's awesome,
That's the
though.
thing about art, man. Though everything they say, everything's been done. You
Yeah.
know, and you hate to feel like you're just copying someone else's work.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think the way to find your style of art is you kind of combine all these things that you love
Yeah.
in the pieces you see. So you take a little element from this artist, from Rothko, from Richter, and you kind of just put it all into one, and that's you.
Wow.
You know?
Okay. That it made me just get like an epiphany real quick to think
All
about
right.
like. Remember when you said like how I try to find everything, how to make everything work together? I'm thinking about now, like I think I'm creating art.
Dude, everything is art.
Yeah.
This is my thing. Everything is art. You know? And I see that in everything that I'm trying to do. And there's so many projects I want to do that I just don't really have time for. You know, I don't want to take on too much.
Yeah.
But I have tons of passions like clothing or designing shoes or you know, a YouTube channel or whatever it may be. I think those are all forms of art.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, you gotta pick and choose. For now. Eventually,
sure.
I'll get to it. But for now, I gotta focus on just a few things.
Yeah. Do you think? I think a lot of people who I've worked with, like business consulting wise, they have a hard time just focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, I'm not gonna say I mastered anything, but I think if I were to say like I've mastered one thing, and that it probably my fitness. My fitness is probably I have the biggest expertise.
Yeah.
And that's why I can coach it mainly through powerlifting. Because I also found it's my own personal way to find dichotomy. I took an art class, actually, what is it called? Ceramics. Ceramics class in
I
college.
took ceramics. All right.
My
That's fun
professor,
stuff.
like I didn't understand it until I was taking the class. He said, dichotomy is the reason why we find things beautiful. What do you think that meant?
I was gonna just ask you to explain that.
Okay. Here, so my definition now is the reason why I personally find beauty in things is because it has a perfect balance of negative and positive. And that's what he was telling me. It's like the thing about women. Like we like our women small waisted, but we like big hips. And just that dichotomy of small and big makes it look beautiful.
Yeah.
Or light and dark.
Right.
Like I have a big affinity to I call it Tiffany blue, that like baby blue and black.
Yeah, I love that color.
Yeah. And when I see that the color combo.
Yeah.
Or
Do you
blue,
have
blue and
the
orange.
Tiffany dunks, the Nike Tiffany?
I
dunks?
used to.
You did?
Back in high school.
What happened? You got rid of them? You sold them?
I sold them. Yeah.
Come on, man. Not a sneakerhead?
I was.
You were?
I was.
You gave it up? Did you have an addiction?
No, I wouldn't say it was an addiction. It was just more like it was just taking up space.
No,
No,
taking up space.
I think it was because then that's how I also learned retail arbitrage. So I still do that.
Arbitrage, bro. I know a little something
See?
about that.
Okay.
I've seen some YouTube videos about that. What were you flipping? Shoes?
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
but not retail arbitrage with shoes.
No, just still to this day. Like I go to the Clarksburg outlet, the Nike outlet, or the Asics outlet.
No way. With the outlet shoes?
Yeah. You can get two, like, buy one, get one free at Asics, and then you sell them for, like, full price. You made 150% back.
Oh, nice.
See?
All right, I see. You know what I've heard is big for retail arbitrage?
What's that?
Trader Joe's, everything but the bagel seasoning.
The seasoning?
Yeah, you get it. Do you know what that is?
I know the Everything Bagel.
Yeah, it's like because people are nuts about it.
Okay,
But
they're
they don't-
good.
But
Yeah.
there's no way to get it online, and so for people who live in areas where there's no Trader Joe's and they want it, so people go and they buy out the whole stock and they flip it on Amazon.
Wow, I did not know that.
They bring in the cash, bro. Yeah,
I might
So
try
now you know,
try
dude.
that.
Hey, man.
Oh, that's a
I'm
gem.
looking out for you. Yep.
There you
I got
go.
all the viewers. Everyone's gonna be doing it.
Okay.
See, but now secret's out.
I mean, like we said, everything's been done. Just see if you can get it.
Everything's been done. That's for sure.
Yeah. Because I think that's also another like realization that I had. Like everything's been done. Like no one cares.
It's very hard to be original.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So if you're doing it too, like whatever.
Yeah. Just do you, man.
Yeah. I want to segue to the second question that I like to ask, and that's the power of saying no. Like, how long did it take you to realize like enough's enough? Like, remember you said like you have a lot of passions, but now you said no, I have to focus on one thing at a time, whether it's the gym, whether it's Sweat and Oxygen, whether it's your art.
Yeah.
You pick like those three.
Right.
Like, how did you, or
Dude,
what did you
it's
say
tough
no?
because I still find myself
Saying
being
yes.
like wanting to be like pulled into these other things.
Yeah.
And like I said, I want to start doing YouTube, but that's another story. I guess, you kind of have to learn that one the hard way, I think.
Yeah.
And that is when you start a business and you realize
Once you burn
my
out.
mind is like ping-ponging off of all these different things constantly that I don't know what to do.
Exactly.
You know that you're doing too much. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think that's the best way.
Okay. Perfect.
What would you say?
I think me was to the point where I realized I completely isolated myself from like most of my friends.
Yeah.
And like whenever they would hit me up to go out, like go clubbing or just going out to drinks, I'm like,
So
nope.
you're just always working.
Yeah, I got something
Yeah.
to do. Or
Yeah, man. That's I saw
wasn't
this
that all the
thing
time.
on Instagram the other day. Someone posted in the story, and it just kind of made me stop and think for a bit. It was like something like, we need to stop glorifying busy.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So many people are so concerned with, oh, I'm always working, I'm always busy, I'm always this.
grinding all the time.
Yeah, always grinding. And that's
Yeah.
it's kind of that thing of like that Gary Vee kind of mentality, which I love. I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just a little bit of overkill with the busy and the hustle and the grind. And it's like, okay, chill a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, good.
But I think also, I realized
don't
from
do
him,
too much and don't burn out and stop like not sleeping and not eating. And,
he knows
you
how to
need
delegate.
To have balance.
He knows how to delegate. I think that's his biggest key.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he would not know how to do all of his edits, video clips, and whatnot.
Oh no, yeah, no, he's a rock star for sure. He's got a whole team.
Right.
Help him.
That's what I think. That's one thing that I'm learning now, and who I'm trying to teach to my business consultants, because everyone sees everything that they're doing. Like, they're learning camera equipment, they're learning editing, they're learning social media work, they're learning SEO, they're learning everything, how to work with people, but then they burn themselves out.
Yeah.
But I think the part they don't realize is they need to focus on their strengths, whether it's the networking portion or whether it's the editing portion or whether it's something else.
Right.
Like, focus on that and then find other people who have the same vision and help them fill the voids, and then you guys can do it together.
Right. And that can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes, honestly, because especially if you're someone who, in the creative kind of fields,
you just want to be number one.
You want to be in control a lot of times, like for me personally, I want to film it a certain way and I want to edit it a certain way. And, I have a certain vision, and you don't want that creative vision to be tampered with by someone else necessarily.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you gotta be able to let go a little bit. Otherwise, you're gonna be holding yourself back, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I think that's a good note. We can wrap things up. Is there anything we can shout out anything you're working on that you want to bring out?
Out.
Sweat and Oxygen. Something going